Alright, so now let's talk about customizing things. Let's say you finished the entire project, but you still want it to be a little more unique before moving on with it. Well, for the pencil box, if we go back and open up the pencil box base, we can now change some things. So let's right click on this and make a new sketch. If we want to take out this middle piece or a couple of pieces, we can make a rectangle tool. Alright, so I'm going to remove two sections of wood here, but I want it to look right. So it's going to be the same on the left that it is on the right. So let's dimension this. And let's give it a 1/2 inch from each of these sides. And let's call this 1 inch. And you can change this as long as they're nice numbers, because we're reading with a ruler, we're not reading with something that goes out to the 1,000th of an inch. So if you keep in mind like 0.25, 0.125, 0.625, things that can be translated into fractions, that'll make this easier for other people to read. But let's go ahead and finish the sketch now. And we're going to extrude, cut these two sections out of it. And we're going to change the distance to all. Okay, so now our base looks completely different. Now, we know that each of these spaces in between are a 1/2 inch, and I can double check that by looking at sketch 6. So I hit expand on extrusion 5, double click on sketch 6, and I didn't dimension it, but I dimensioned from here to here is 0.5, from here to here is 1. That does mean that this is 0.5. Now, let's say I want a piece of walnut in here. Okay, I can go to let's save this as something. Well, no, let's save this first. I'm going to go File, Save As, and we'll call this Pencil Box Insert, because we're going to join up another piece of wood and put it in between here. Now, to make this easier on ourselves, since we already have this cut out, we're just going to make a new sketch. We're going to delete some of these. So we're just going to draw a big rectangle. Doesn't matter the size or shape. Finish your sketch and extrude, cut everything that's on this the full distance. So now we're left with just this piece, and we're going to change this from cherry to walnut. And since we already said save as, and we're calling this something else, and I forget what it was we called this, I think it was pencil box insert, we're going to save this one more time and then go back and open our assembly file. And our assembly file has a special icon on it, has a little blue block and then 2 yellow blocks. It's symbolizing that you have 3 different parts that are coming together. Let's open this up, and it says some changes were made. Those are the cuts that we took out of it. Do you want to update the assembly now? Yes. Alright, so here's our old assembly, And we certainly changed some things because we cut out these two pieces. So now we're going to place and pencil box insert. We have two of these that we need. Alright, so now go back to our constrain tools. We are going to mate one of these faces to one of these faces. Apply. We're going to make flush the face of this and this face. And let's rotate. So we can see the bottom. And we're going to make, exit out of this. We'll also make flush the bottom of this insert piece and the bottom of this piece. Apply. Since we're already looking at this view, we're going to make this face flush with this face flush with this face, and we are going to mate this side to click and drag orbit this face. Select apply, go back to your home view. Exit out of here, save this again. Let's see what this changed with our presentation file. So we're going to go to open, and our presentation file shows that there's a little yellow piece being pulled away from something else, which is similar to what we have here. So it still hasn't accepted the changes yet, or it hasn't realized there have been changes that are made. Click open, and it's going to tell us again, oh, it didn't tell us, that we had changes. Okay. Now, before, when this was all one solid piece, this made the most sense. Now that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces in here, this is a little more challenging. So instead of going to animate to see how things come together, we're going to go back to tweak components, and I'm going to place my vector on this piece since I can see it well. And that means on the z-axis, if I click and drag something, it's going to move on that. Ooh, and you know what? These are all still considered to be one piece. That's why it's still highlighting in red. So I'm going to change that from my z-axis to my x-axis up here. Now this is in blue, and if I click one piece and a second piece, I can drag them both down at the same time and hit clear. Close out of that. Go back to our home view, and let's see what this looks like if we animate. Okay, that looks pretty descript. So we're going to save that, and if you wanted to, you could do something similar for the lid, or for the sides, or for whatever you would want to customize, and we could make that happen.